In Escape from Tarkov, your stash never seems to be quite big enough. What do you keep? What do you get rid of? What do you do to manage your overall stash space? These are the things that we're going to cover in this video when we give you the 5 tips to manage your stash like a pro. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video where we cover a 6th tip that you can use in raid to help you get out with those few extra 1,000 rubles. The number one thing that you need to buy is a junk box, a Lucky Scav junk box. You can buy this from therapists for roughly 1.1 million rubles, and it's a 4x4 slot in your stash. But when you open it, it is a 14x14 slot that you can put all sorts of junk. So all your task items and a bunch of items that you're gonna need for the hideout. It might cost a lot, but this is definitely worth it and should be your first goal during the wipe. The second rule of thumb is that you shouldn't save things that you're not going to immediately be using. There's no point in holding on to guns, rigs, bags, helmets, ears, whatever it is that's gonna just sit there and take up space, because very quickly space is gonna be more important than having leftover gear. And if you sell it, you just have that many more rubles to build guns that you actually like, instead of just using the ones that you have left over from 7 raids ago. The third rule is to make sure you're utilizing bags and rigs for storage space. There are tons of bags and rigs that take up less space in your stash than they offer on the internal. So a lot of times you're able to take a bag, put a rig in it. Inside the bag and the rig, you're able to store your gun, your ammo, and all sorts of things, and you can have a self-contained ready set kit that you're able to unpack quickly and put on your PMC when you need it. The fourth tip is to remove the mags and the handles off of your guns. Most guns are a 2 by something space, but when you remove the mags and the handles, it turns it into a 1 by whatever the length of the gun is. And if you take all those items and sell them, most times handles are super cheap to buy back, and magazines as well. Or you can store all of those parts in a separate bag or rig, and it allows you to store probably twice the amount of guns that you would normally be able to fit inside your stash space. The fifth rule is to utilize cases as they become available, and to make sure that you're upgrading your stash space within the hideout whenever possible. A lot of these things are locked behind levels or specific tasks, but once you unlock them, you need to use those cases because they are going to be super important. Specifically med cases, ammo boxes, and mag cases. They are going to be super useful in condensing your stash and allowing you to have more available in a lot less space. The sixth tip that I have for you that you can even use in raid is to condense your tactical items as much as possible. For instance, the shotgun ring mount that you're able to put on there that allows you to add 3 tactical devices. You can take all those 1x1 tactical devices and put them on that 1x1 ring mount and take it out as a 1x1 square. So you have 4 items in a 1x1 square that would have normally taken up a 4x4 square. It's super useful. That's why you'll see a lot of the best streamers and gamers are going to take items off of the gun because they don't want the gun, they just want the attachments. So use those attachments, condense them down, and make a few extra 1,000 rubles in raid, or use it to save a bunch of space in your stash if you're just holding on to some lasers, lights, and other things like that that you want to save. Hopefully those tips and tricks were helpful and they helped you manage your stash a little bit better, because we all know if your stash becomes a mess in Escape from Tarkov, your entire experience with the game is gonna be pretty rough. So until next time, guys, take it easy.